Shalom, shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, Bahashim Wakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles. Salutations to all my fellow laborers, the Akim that are doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. To the hopefully elect, the confusion of face, Akim joined unto our ranks. The Akwaf that are listening and learning. To you I say shalom. This is just a quick financial report. And on the fall of Esau Edom, this is the guy Dave from X22 Report, who has been chronicling the destruction of his own people for years now. I think this is a report like it's episode 1740A. All right, so he does so for 1740 days. He's been telling you of the coming destruction, financial breakdown and destruction of America, which is at hand. Okay, so he's been diligent in this, just as we have been diligent about giving you the truth. So let's let a little of this play.
40 a.m. Today's date is December 13th, 2018, and the title of the episode is Confirmed U.S. has gold. Gold will bring down the Fed. Now, before we get started, have you always wondered...
And why is that? Because gold is real currency, and the people just haven't figured that out yet. Well, some of the people, the extremely wealthy, knows. And the elites hate gold unless they own it. They don't want you to own it, all right, unless they own it. And as this thing gets closer and closer, people are going to find out that gold and silver is true currency, because that's going to be one of the main things used to trade back and forth with, okay? So let me find, this is the book of James, verse 5. And I'm going to start at verse 1. And it says, Go now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. And ye shall eat your flesh as if it were fire. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days. All right. But they didn't focus on the Lord and heaping treasures in heaven, man. Hence the reason why destruction is going to come. Let me grab one quick scripture and another scripture and we'll let it play again. This is Luke 12 and 20. It says, So is he that layeth up treasures for himself and is not rich toward power, toward God. All right? Because the Lord, you're low with the Lord, and your gold and silver is, your fiat currency is cankered, and no one wants to use it anymore. All right? Because what's happening, the other nations are getting around the different sanctions and creating different vehicles and avenues to circumvent the sanctions that America has put using a petrodollar. What you're looking at on the screen is called the petrodollar, which America set up for the whole world to use for oil, to trade oil with. And whatever your currency is, you have to trade oil, which is the #1 commodity in the world with Esau ruling. To get oil, you have to actually use American dollars. And what that did was that allowed America and Americans, certain Americans, to grow extremely, extremely wealthy and extremely powerful, because all the nations had to bow down and submit to this currency. And what's happening now is that the world and the nations are rejecting it. And what's happening is that currency you see is beginning to flow back to America as more and more of major nations, former allies, all right, are dropping and have dropped the dollar. Major countries. So hyperinflation is coming. The Department of Homeland Security just finally told its citizens to prepare to prep for 6 months of not having food and water. Now, funny thing is, over these last couple years, that same DHS has been proclaiming anyone that's prepping as potential terrorists or terrorism. And now they're telling you to prep. because these other nations have been preparing their people and telling them that these things are coming. So they're not going to be able to hide these things much longer. And I truly believe that 2019 and 2018 was a year of prophecies, and many prophecies came to pass, and we get closer to things. But 2019 is going to prove to be a very violent year. Violent here in America. So you're finally going to see the destruction that's happening in these other countries, all right, with all the riots and instability and people in the streets fighting with the police and burning buildings. You're going to see that here in America. That's what's coming. And it's coming fast. All right, and if you don't want to believe it, then you're just going to be the dummy that's going to get caught out there with your mouth wide open, your jaw wide open as you're watching your cities burn.
How investors and stock traders are able to make money hand over fist from working in the comfort of their own home. Well, now it's your opportunity to learn how with one of the best online training programs trade that made customers almost 3% profit in November on Bitcoin. The Trade Genius Signal notified a buy at 3,600. Gift bundles are also available if you're thinking about gifting. Now, we are starting to see all the pieces come together. In the beginning, we started out saying, oh, look, Trump has Andrew Jackson hanging on the wall. What does that mean? We talked about Andrew Jackson.
Right, and of all the presidents, he would hang Andrew Jackson. Well, not only was Andrew Jackson the killer of my tribe and my people, but he also tried to get rid of fiat money and reinstate the gold standard. And he was hated for that. Because the bankers, who are mostly Jewish, this is not what they wanted. The Jewish people want to hoard all the gold and silver to themselves and give you paper. And give you debt-based currency. And the world is waking up to this. And that's why the world is at odds with America.
How we campaign on getting rid of the central bank. Then Q, back in 2017, posted a couple of posts about all the Rothschild central bank systems. Talked about how the Fed is sitting on their own piece of land, immune to U.S. laws.
Yep.
And then recently, Q posted something about how the central bank is trying to bring down this economy, and they know already.
Hey, that devil that just died, Senior George Bush, he made a statement, a profound statement, and one of those, and it went something like this. You know, this is not verbatim, but it was something to the effect that if the people were to wake up to what we have done, they would chase us down and lynch us in the streets. All right, so when these pensions begin to disappear and these bank accounts hit zero and this dollar crashes, you best believe these people are going to be targeting their city officials, their bankers, and all anyone that has to do anything with finances is going to be. And that's why the wealthiest of them, the biggest of them, they already have their escape plans and already have places, secured bunkers underground and in different countries and things of that nature. They're already prepared, man.
That this was in place and they're prepared for it. And Q has told us that an economic structure change is coming. Then during the Q&A,
that structure change is going to usher in the RFID chip. And it's being used profoundly across Europe more and more every day. As more and more stores, even here in Chicago, are going cashless. There's a lot of restaurants and fast food joints all throughout the River North, the downtown, the Gold Coast, River East, all those areas. What do you call that place? Streeterville, that are cashless. And the bigger restaurants want to fight it because, you know, they cash you can kind of, you can get away with things with cash, but they want to implement a system where they know everything, and that will be the RFID system. All right, which is the mark of the beast, which is in Revelation, the 13th chapter. Okay?
With Q, last night, someone asked about gold. And guess what? Gold is going to bring down the Fed.
Yes, it is.
Everything has been planned. Everything, all these different pieces that you see, they're just not one over here, one over here. They're all coming together for a specific plan. This is not just about the deep state. It's just not about those individuals that were treasonous. It's just not about the economy. It's about all of this together.
This is Jeremiah 17:11. As a partridge sitteth, and eggs, Salakia, as a partridge sitteth on eggs, and hatcheth them not, so he that gathereth riches, and not by right, shall leave them in the midst of his days, and at his end shall be a fool. And Esau is being made to look like a fool. They're looking like a stupid partridge that's sitting on eggs, and the eggs don't hatch, man. All these plans that Esau has are going to come to naught. The Lord is going to wipe away their dreams, man. That's why so many of them on drugs and committing suicide. You know, the birth rates are low. They're stressed the hell out. They're living in squad bay military type things. I forget the name of it. I'm going to do a sit down on it. But their standard of life has decreased tremendously, and they don't have the money they don't have the money to pass on to their future. You know, and with so many of the age-bearing Edomites dying from drugs, overdose, and suicides, all these baby boomers are being left with their grandchildren, right? And they're gonna have no 401ks and no money to take care of their grandchildren. This is it.
It's about this major global reset that we're going to be going through. And with any type of transition reset, you're going to see chaos. You're going to see things that look very chaotic. I mean, look what's happening out in the UK.
In France.
Look what's happening out in France.
And that's spreading.
It's happening in Germany. It's happening in many other countries.
Yep.
And this is what it looks like when people start to push their own agenda. They break away from the elites. They break away from the central bank. They break away and say, you know what? We're done with all this. And this is what we're watching right now. It's happening live right in front of our faces.
Yes, it is.
Out in the UK.
And you still got scoffers talking that dumb crap, that dumb shit on the internet, when their world is literally falling apart beneath their feet, man. And you still got clowns that are scoffing. And you people are going to find out the hard way that the men of GMS and the brothers that teach the likewise proper doctrine has been telling you the truth all along, man. IUIC, GOCC, ISUPK, these guys are looking pretty suspect, man. All right, then you got those play the fence Israelites who are trying to be cool with everybody, man. Look, there's only one truth, man. You can't have 95%. You can't have 98% the truth. You got to have the whole truth, man. 360 degrees, man, of truth. Period.
In Europe does not appear to have been strengthened after she survived the no confidence vote. And it looks like she's in trouble. She's already said that she's not going to be running in the next election. The people, once again,
that's one ugly woman.
Deal. The EU individuals, they're pushing this deal, saying we're not going to renegotiate this. This is it. This is what we're going to give you. Right there and then, it tells you something. It tells you this is not a deal for the people. In France, we see that Macron is in trouble. But back here in the United States, we see our own chaos. And remember, the chaos here is a little different. We see a movement. We see a movement of people saying, you know...
The chaos is going to be different here is because America, unlike these other nations that he's talking about, are heavily armed. America has more guns than it has citizens. All right? Which is why Esau has been hesitant to do things like he's done in all these other countries. Because he's going to be facing a well-armed population. All right? That's why you keep having all these false flag shootings everywhere, so they can try to collect up all the guns, as many as they can, before they shut it down. That's what all these shootings have been about. when they try to collect these guns, these hillbillies, these Edomites, these veterans are going to go to war. There's going to be a civil war, riots, race riots, all that is going to come. And this is Psalms 55 and 23. But thou, O power, shall bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in thee. Because they're going to be dying by the thousands daily here in America when this thing finally goes down, man. And we are dangerously, dangerously close to that time, man. With every video, with every moment, every second, every day, you're getting closer and closer to utter chaos. All right? Utter chaos. This is last scripture, because he said enough. All right? This is Job 20 and 15. He hath swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. And God, power, shall cast them out of his belly. So everything that Esau have, he gonna cough it up, choke it up, like a guy that fumbles a pass. Call halal Yahweh Bashem Abashai Bahashem Rakar Kwadash Wa Abad Babal.